So glad you made it in, guys. Welcome to the Jam. Good evening. Good evening. Come on in. Come on in. Come on in so we can get started. Welcome to GoGi's After Dinner. Oh, welcome to the Jam, everybody. This is mid-December. That means it's almost Christmas. Can you believe it? Time is ticking. We are moving closer to the goal, and we're getting where we need to go. All right. Do you believe that this change will happen just like that? It could happen just like that. Doesn't have to be anything difficult. I mean, it may seem just like that, but actually things are falling in place, and things have been put in place step by step for quite a bit, for quite a while now. Like, if you really look at things, look at the signs all around us, things have been placed in particular spots, and I believe there's going to be a time and everything's going to just gel together. Like the Jam. The Jam has gelled. I'm really proud and happy to serve you guys. We have a lot to do tonight. We have a jam-packed night, and I see the conference calls as different flavors of ice cream, and yet you picked this one. I thank you for choosing this flavor, and I choose you back. Thank you for being here. Sometimes, we get used to drudgery. We get accustomed to survival and accepting that old comfortable shoe, and we forget to hope for more. We forget to have faith that things will get better. Well, I sure hope the Jam provides a source of strength, direction, and love in your life. Serving you has given me purpose, strength, and motivation. It is my belief that I'm doing exactly what God has for me to do. I'm exactly where He wants me to be, and this is His time. I hope the same for you. As we exit this season of suffering, as we prepare for our private lives, and are handed back the reins to steer ourselves into more lucrative, satisfying times, let's not forget all the things we've learned in this space. Let's not just drop everything and run till we can't look back anymore. Let's take the lessons and good memories with us. Let's take the people who've commiserated with us and stood by us during times like these. Let's take them with us into our next life, into our next time, into our next season. And most of all, let's share our stories and tips with others who have no idea of this experience, who couldn't imagine the torture that you've been through. The world is preparing for the inevitable. The world is going to have to decipher the disinformation from the truth, the perpetrators from the real TIs, fact from fiction, and who's going to help them? We will. We are now the front runners. So at the very least, put something in place similar to that of the survivors of the Holocaust, which says never again. Similar to those survivors of slavery, we shall overcome someday. Inform your children and children's children of things they need to do during times like these, during the days to come. And let's name a few. When we open up today, we're going to name a few things that we need to do to make sure that this doesn't happen again. Like ways that we need to live. All right? So, for example, I'll throw out one. For me, it's just the idea, like maybe I would have picked up on this sooner if I could have even just imagined that there was such evil in the world. So when we open up today, and you can do something more concrete, like, say, grow your own food. What things do you think people need to do as we move forward to help prevent some of this from happening again? So I'm going to open up. If you have noise in your background, please mute yourself so we don't have to mute you or boot you. And let's go. All right, let's go. Welcome to Welcome to the J.A.M. Please announce yourself, city and state you're from, and what steps do you think we need to take, people need to take in the future based on what we've been through with this targeting program?
Are you talking to me?
Yes, I'm talking to you. Go ahead.
Hi, I'm Jacqueline. I haven't been on your conference call in probably like 9 months.
Wow.
I was on here a while back, and then because I became homeless, and then kind of just been through the system, and now I'm homeless elsewhere. But the harassment continues. They're doing a really good job at keeping me down. But anyway, I'm from Southern California. I'm in Indio, California now. I initially was in Riverside. And what brings me here is,
first of all, I'm sorry to hear that, Jacqueline. I'm really sorry to hear that. And, we know that is one of their goals. So my prayers and thoughts are with you. Go ahead.
I appreciate it. Yeah, and unfortunately I come across a lot of bad people the whole way, and oh my gosh, and just recently I just got out of a relationship where, I think I don't think he was one of them this time. I think he was just mentally sick, but the one previous from him, he was participating in this. The reason I'm here is because, I want to listen and hear what's going on, because I saw when I was on here, we had that first lawsuit that we put out. I believe it was March 2021 or 2023. I think it was 2023. And then I recently looked again, and I saw that we've been doing quite a few. And then I did my Freedom of Information Act, where they told me I was Maria Robles, supposedly. And then I decided to get another one done because they compromised that email, so I don't have that information anymore. And now they have that on hold. And I'm wondering, why would you have that on hold when you gave it to me freely before? But that was before they had all these legal situations going on pertaining to it. So I'm trying to aware myself again and remind myself that I'm not the only one out there, and that I know I'm not crazy, and just trying to reinforce myself right now.
All right. Well, welcome to the J.A.M. And you are not crazy, and we're all here, and we're in it with you. So sit back, relax, enjoy, and be informed. All right. Welcome to the J.A.M., and my prayers and thoughts are with you. All right. Next caller, please. Go ahead.
Welcome, everyone. This is Jennifer H.T., Survivor Awareness Richardson. It's been a minute since I've been on here. It's really good to hear your voice, GoGi. I'm originally from Dallas, Texas, and I am currently living in West Palm Beach, Florida. What I would say, I would tell people who are becoming aware of this scam on our lives and do not would like to prepare themselves, I would say learn about laws. I would say even go so far to study paralegal or something within human rights. That's what I would say, just to begin to prepare yourself for any protection need be, because they are paying everyone that is connected to the system, schools, shelters, medical, just about every field out there to do something to abuse you or violate your rights. So just be prepared, because this is about to get nastier, I think, not necessarily for those of us who are already here and fighting, but you're about to experience a lot. You're about to find out a lot of information of things that's going on around you that you were not even aware of. So get your finances in order and go ahead and study for law while you can, because it's very imperative. Thank you.
All right. Thank you, Jennifer Richardson. You said a mouthful, and I happen to agree with you. in terms of knowing about the law, because as everybody knows, as TIs know, even if you have a black and white case, it's very difficult to find someone to represent you. You know, targeted justice, for example, took 5 years to find Anna Toledo to represent the group in reference to the TSDB. There are some lawsuits, and I think that's what the other young lady, Jacqueline, was asking about, that are pending or going through the pipe now. But for the most part, if you know it yourself, then it's easier to do something pro se. So thank you for that, Jennifer. Next caller, please. Go ahead.
Yes, you're welcome. Thank you.
Mm-hmm. All right. Wow, we have a nice quiet group today. Is everybody muted or what? What's going on here? Anybody want to announce yourself? Hi, I hear a male and female, and which is unlike me. The bass in your voice, go ahead. Is that you, Roger, big guy?
Hello, holla everybody.
Hi, how you doing? Hey.
Wonderful. I would say this. Knowledge is power. And power comes from all of us, and we all bring something different to the table. But if this is you going through this, like myself, I talked with Major P about this when we went through it in the beginning. You go through a process. If I had to tell anybody to do it again, I would tell them, relax and reach out immediately to other people and get that knowledge. We know that this program is at least 50% psychological. So when you need self-help, you learn about the psychology of the program, because you got to think like they do, but think backwards and what they're going to attempt to do on you, to play mind games with you and whatever. Then the next thing is you cannot be silent. I was silent, and that's my biggest regret. You have to reach out. That's why me, myself, the J.A.M, it's sponsored by the J.A.M and the whole community. It's not any organization. It's by the J.A.M and us Jamsters that we're going to put together this thing with the inauguration. Also, we're putting together a thing at your Capitol for the J.A.M people. We're not affiliated with nobody. We're not saying if you're with this group, that group. No. Everybody, anybody with a title TI, which is a targeted individual, please, this is our day to get out there on January 20th. A large group, not 100. We need 200, 300, 400 people. And we need you at the Capitol on February 6th, people. This is our time to get it exposed. I just say to you, don't go, you're not crazy like GoGi said, but make sure you reach out to other people. Somebody will listen to you. Somebody will give you information. Knowledge is power, just like with baking soda, learning all the tricks of shielding. Doing nothing's going to get you nothing. That's all I have to say. Peace and blessings. Feliz Navidad. Merry Christmas. Happy Hanukkah. Whatever you believe in, I send peace and blessings to you and your family. Amen.
Thank you for that, Roger. Thank you. Absolutely. And yes, please, we want as many people at the inauguration as possible. And some of us will be celebrating. Some of us are sad that Trump is in. But if you're a TI, I believe that good things are about to happen because of his presidency. So what we're going to do is raise our voice, raise awareness. We have flyers, banners. We're going to be out there with our T-shirts and hoodies, because it'll be a chill in that air in D.C., I'm sure. And we just want people to ask us what our T-shirts mean. What does this mean? What does the banner mean? What does the flyer mean? So that but we want to blitz the area. So please join us. As Roger says, we need as many people as possible. And those of you who cannot travel to D.C., then on the 6th of February, we're asking you to go to your capital in your state so that it's not so far for you to travel, but to do the same thing, lift our voices. This is our time. The tide is changing, and we want to be prepared. We want to be there, and we want to make ourselves known and seen. All right? Thank you for that. Thank you so much. And there was a woman that spoke. Her voice was right under Rogers. Please go ahead, ma'am.
Hi, GoGi's. This is Daylene in Chicago. I used to be. Oh, sorry.
Go ahead.
Can you hear me?
Yes, go ahead.
Can you hear me?
Mm-hmm. Yes, ma'am.
I used to be very open and very friendly with everyone. I would keep very tight boundaries next time around. Or had I known earlier how this is going to pan out, I would have kept very tight boundaries, not answered anyone's questions, and been so open.
Wow. I agree with you. And that's really such a sad statement, but that's similar to what I was saying. I would tell myself that evil is present because I thought the world was just so beautiful and everybody was just good people. But and you're right, by talking so much about your business, about different things, and being so trusting and so forth, it can open the door to a lot of negativity that you can prevent. So yeah, I agree with you, and we look forward to your poetry later on today, Daisy.
Let me know. I'm ready tonight.
All right, good. I sent you an email, so you'll see the order. All right. Okay, next caller, please.
I don't have email. GoGi, I don't have email. They've hacked it.
You don't have the email. Oh, they hacked your email. So I have you in after the first commercial, which will be after. Okay, we'll let you know. All right. Thank you. Next caller, please. Anybody else?
Hello, GoGi.
Hi.
Can you hear me? Hi.
Yes.
My name is Rose. Hi. How are you? I'm a little nervous.
Rose can be
Sorry.
expected.
Yeah.
Go ahead, Rose. It's okay.
Thank you. That's actually my alias. I don't want to use my real name because it's really unusual, and I'm just working on safety issues. But thank you so much for your call. I love your calls. You're wonderful, and God bless you.
God bless you. Thank you.
Thank you. I have a question. Jesse Beltran last week talked about a video that he said we could use to introduce people gently to the concept of Havana syndrome and neuroweapons. And I want to start doing that in my community to gently, little by little, step by step, introduce people to the idea of neuroweapons because people need to know about this. And you had mentioned that you were going to put this video on your website, and I don't know where to find it. Can you please tell me where to find it?
Okay. Thank you for
asking. I just put that link in the chat.
Okay. All right. So I don't know if you're online. If you're online, you can see it in the chat. If not, Tranquility, can we put it on TI Events, and I'll also put it on GoGi'sJam.com.
Absolutely.
Okay.
That's wonderful.
So, ma'am, go ahead. Mm-hmm.
I'm sorry. Go ahead. When you say put it on there, I just don't know where to go to find it.
Okay. So you have access to the internet?
On my phone, I do.
Okay. So you would go to tievents.org, tievents.org, or GoGi's, GoGi's, jam.com.
Okay. But where on the website would they be?
Oh, where would it be? Okay, good question. So my website is in construction, so I'm not sure where it'll be. Tranquility, where would you put it? Do you have a tab for?
I'm going to put that under the TI Take Action Toolkit. And that's at tievents.org.
Okay, that's wonderful. Thank you so very much.
You're welcome. You're welcome, and thank you for your question. Thank you for the reminder. I plan to get a section with, like, friends of the TI community, and I would put Jesse there and put his information there, so that link could go with that. All right, so
friends of the
that'll
TI
be coming
community?
up soon. Yes.
Oh, beautiful. Thank you so much. God bless you.
God bless you. Thank you. All right, next caller, please. Anybody else? Okay, we're going to close it down because we have a lot. We have a jam-packed night. So I always like to give you guys a chance to talk, chat if you want to. If not, sit back and listen. We have some information, and we're going to share and get into it.
Could I say one thing?
Oh, go ahead, real quick. Go ahead, ma'am.
Okay, this is Jacqueline again. That I have heard from you for a while, and I'm so glad that I'm back again. Anyways, there's this just fun fact. I don't know if anybody has heard of eFani, which is a SIM jacking protection service. So, for example, they have been, like, messing with my phone for so long, and this is probably almost my 50th phone because Androids are crap. If you're concerned about that, because, the stalking happens that way, so on and so forth, I would suggest looking into that. It's a little expensive. It's like $99 a month. But, unfortunately, if we're going to try to protect ourselves and fight back, we have to get a little bit more expensive than what we want. But that was just if anybody wanted to look at that. Or For Freedom Mobile is another one where they make specific phones that are different OS systems that are not – they're supposed to prevent, hackability, and they have intrusive apps and everything. Just a fun fact. That was all.
That was cute. Okay, Freedom Mobile. That's the one I heard. Or did you say eFoni?
Yes, eFani is the first one, and that's actually the top one recommended as of 2024. So eFani, EFANI, and then there's also For Freedom Mobile. There's a couple others, but those two in particular I researched, and I like both of those options.
We love those kind of tips. That's what we're here for. We keep it positive. We keep solution-oriented, and I thank you for that. Beautiful. All right, nice way to close down. All right, so we're going to go into the news now. Thank you. I do want to mention there was a person, her name was Eternal Light, and she wrote to me a year or so back, a while back, and I reached out ever so often. I do that because she had a picture of these lights in her yard. Let me see if I could find the email. These lights that were shining in her yard, and she was so frightened by it. And let me see if I could find it. Yeah, here it is. Okay, and her email, it stood out in my mind because it was so drastic. And let me just try to find the one where she explained. She said, I'm sorry, I want to find the beginning. She said, someone referred me to this site because I am being unlawfully targeted. Currently, there are radiation lamps beaming on my house 24/7, and local police and New York State police are allowing it. All of my devices have been hacked, etc., etc. I am a woman. I live alone in a town where I don't know anyone. Actually, it's in Newburgh, New York, and we do know someone there, by the way, if you're still there. I have been harassed ever since I moved in 2019. I need help as soon as possible because they are trying their best to make me sick. I need a safe, trustworthy place to go. Please help. I have attached a picture of the radiation lamps that are blasting from the neighbor's house behind my house. Please help me. Thank you. So she showed a picture of exactly her yard and the light blasting, and I remember reaching out to her. So I also reached back out recently, and this was over a year ago that she sent that, and asked her, just said, how are you? And I was very pleased to say her message, and I asked her if I could share, and she said yes. She said, "Hi, GoGi, love and light to you and yours. Thank you for asking. I am fabulous, especially since this will be over very shortly. In addition, all of the perpetrators are receiving some hardcore karma. I made sure of it. I am happy of this situation because otherwise I may not have realized just how powerful I am. Returning all attacks to the senders works wonders. Peace and blessing." And so I just think sometimes good things happen, guys. Bad things happen to good people like us, and sometimes we're able to turn it around. And, my hat's off to you. I'm going to call you Eternal Light. And because you made a full circle, okay? So I was happy to reach out, happy to get that response. All right, now we want to go to some news. I like to start with Havana syndrome because that is that impacts all of us. It is said that if you have been assaulted for 6 months, then most likely you are you have Havana syndrome. Many of us are diagnosed. Some people are not. And I would encourage you, if possible, to get diagnosed if you can. But, okay, so I want to share this article. This is with Blinken. All right. And it says, wait a second. Oh, some more of my stuff came in. All right. It says Blinken, contempt and Havana syndrome revisited. News and notes from Washington on Mike McCall's ulterior motive for subpoenaing Anthony Blinken and a new development in the endlessly curious case of the CIA and the anomalous health incidents. It has struggled to explain. So the CIA is still struggling to explain AHI. Blinken will be the first Secretary of State in American history to be held in contempt. Okay, so, and it says, I'm just going to read this part here where it says the truth is out there. Meanwhile, last week brought a new development on the intriguing topic of AHI, anomalous health incidents, previously known as Havana syndrome, one of the longest standing and strangest mysteries in Washington. Brian Karim, a reporter of Salon, published the results of a FOIA request he submitted to the CIA that turned up a heavily redacted whistleblower complaint filed by an agency employee. It alleged that CIA higher-ups were tampering with witnesses, suppressing evidence, and generally forcing a false consensus on the anomalous health incidents. The phenomenon, if you recall, was first reported by U.S. Embassy personnel in Havana, thus the name in 2016. State Department and CIA employees reported hearing a strange sound. Okay, we have heard much of this. Let's go here. Even as the number of people affected continued to climb and the geographical reach spread, agency investigators said they'd found no evidence of a weapon or a foreign adversary as the culprit. CIA Director Bill Burns and administration officials made clear that while they didn't doubt their employees were in real pain, there was no concrete evidence of a common cause, and that the CIA wanted to believe was that. But of course it wasn't. Victims continued to sound the alarm and advocate for more clarity. Everyone inside Langley seemed to know someone who'd been hit, and they found no reason to disbelieve their colleague. Meanwhile, independent investigators and journalists stayed on the case. Okay. All right. Let me see. Let me just read some of the symptoms, and then we'll move on from this. Employees reported hearing a strange sound and feeling pressure in their skulls, which, according to the victims, caused a bouquet of debilitating symptoms: vomiting, vertigo, migraines, anesthesia, amnesia, vision and hearing loss, and the like. The symptoms came and went and often lingered for years. All right, so they're still dealing with Havana syndrome, and the complaint that we still hear is that there's no code for it in terms of the health insurance. So although they get treated for it, they are sometimes billed for it because the health providers can't bill for the caring for them. And if they go to work and tell the symptoms and show the symptoms, then they're often demoted, and they still have the background noise of, this is a mental health issue. Are you okay? Are you sure this is happening, kind of thing. So there's still issues there. However, our issue as TIs is that we're not recognized at all. At least the diplomats have somewhere where they can go and say, they can be acknowledged. Number one, acknowledge that they have Havana syndrome. Number two, they can get some sort of health care. And number three, representation, because Mark Zaid represents them. And that is a difficult thing for the everyday person. All right? So, okay, I want now to turn to this video, this audio clip that you're going to hear with one of the TI, friends of the TI, Rose. One of the friends of the TI is Dr. Staninger. And I did have the pleasure of speaking with her not too long ago and the other day, and oh my God, she is delightful, and I'm hoping one day that she will join us on the J.A.M. I'm not sure if that's true because she is indeed retired. However, she sent greetings to the community, her greetings and her love, and if without Havana, since I didn't write it down, my Havana is running all over my head, and I can't remember exactly what she gave me, some precise things to say. So I'm going to have her on at some point to say them herself. But she is, in this clip, she talks about Morgellons, and she knows a lot about that, and it's a very specific condition. And let's just hear from the clip her tips about that. Lady T, ready?
I'm ready.
All right.
Understanding.
Thank you.
Scientists actively investigate what's become known as Morgellons syndrome, and joins us tonight with some incredible findings.
Welcome, Dr. Stanger. Thank you very much for having me on the show. Thanks for joining us. Wow, what research you've done. Now, this is the first time for most of our viewers, so tell us, what exactly is this Morgellons problem? The Morgellons problem is a syndrome, a disease that has specific things in common with all parties that are developing these symptoms. They have fibers that grow out of their body, and these fibers burn at 1,400 degrees or more. And they also have where it's either black, blue, or red, or even white fibers. They experience hair loss that is replaced by pseudo hair. They have fatigue and a number of what they call lesions that have like a crust over it, or a pseudo skin, or some people call it a callus, where these fibers and other materials accumulate on the skin. This material, this nanomaterial, has affinity for, once it comes out of those organ systems that have the high pH, which is alkaline, so it gets the gel, it goes to the peripheral nervous system, which is just underneath the skin. So it's on the baby nerve, so you're going to feel everything. Those poor people. Now, the other thing is these people have these real symptoms. They are scratching. Their skin looks... They're real symptoms. Winter up to take, meaning we have a questionnaire that Dr. Spencer and I use. There's 167 symptoms. And when we get a patient, there are only 3 of those symptoms. But all of the patients that we've seen, they continually have basically all the symptoms. And if they go to someone else, though, these poor people, many people who are going to be watching this tonight may have heard of this, or they may even have some kind of symptoms. They go to a regular GP. What happens to them?
Well, a lot of them get misdiagnosed. A lot of them get thought of that it's all in their mind. Some of the ones that had, I want to say, good response to medical professional were ones that went to, like, occupational physicians early on that understood a chemical reaction. And the other thing is that a lot of them are getting treated, for parasites. They don't have parasites. And sometimes these medications work with the individual or appear to be working is because these medications are made up of high metals charges, valence charges, that interact with those transitional metals.
Oh,
so it stops the process. It appears like it's gone or appears like it's working, but it still comes back because no one has stopped as I call it, the assembler, wherever it's set up camp and making this continually happen.
When you say assembler, that sounds like a robot or something. It's a good place to take a break.
The term in the literature called nanorobots.
Perfect. We're going to leave that as we come to a commercial break.
Well, nanorobots are either they can be, in this case, more like chemical made material, which has a specific function. This is very similar to what we've experienced in everyday life as memory foam in the beds. It always goes back into a certain position. With nanorobots, they go to a certain area. They're programmed to go in there, made to go into there, and only do one function or multiple functions. And in this case, made a network that is very similar to a fiber optic network. So that we found is that it never stimulated the immune system. So in the very beginning, it's like if it doesn't stimulate the immune system because it's so small, the immune system can't send the white blood cells and the soldiers to fight it. Okay? So what you have to do is just basically keep your body healthy and please use good intestinal fiber and Jerusalem artichoke powder and other types of nutrients like what are being developed so that you can maintain good digestive health, because I personally think that, well, I know it's starting in the intestinal tract, thus the first organs that are formed are the GI tract.
So if you can keep that cleaned out then and healthy, it doesn't have a chance to grow.
Assemble.
Right. Okay.
Very good. Thank you, Lady T. To end off with that tip, if you keep your gut healthy, it doesn't have a chance to assemble. So, sometimes we take for granted these little tips that we could do by eating healthy and exercising and getting some fresh air and some sunlight and all, and that really, goes a long way. So, especially, for those who are dealing with Morgellons. All right, so we're going to switch up a little bit. Sir Dan, are you ready? We want to look at, there's an article about get this, guys. The FBI is warning us that someone's trying to look at our text messages. Sir Dan?
Yes, ma'am. Issue for warning. The FBI wants your text messages. The feds are overstepping their boundaries when accessing civilians' text messages and private property. There is a strong argument to be made that all governments are gangs. The irony is the gang of government develops in response to the presence of other gangs. The uncomfortable truth is that humans inevitably enslave and harm one another after expanding beyond the size of a tribe. Problems arise when the government gang becomes the most intrusive, corrupt, and violent of them all. It appears that we've reached that point. The federal government is Big Brother, and you are Winston Smith. The Fourth Amendment of the Constitution prevents a legal government search and seizure of items in one's home. The amendment's language can also be construed to be applicable to surveillance of one's communications, especially when in the home. A warrant must be filled out and signed by a judge for police, the FBI, or other government authorities to enter a citizen's home. There is a significant burden of proof that must be met to convince a judge to sign a search warrant. As Ronald Reagan once said, the last thing anyone wants is for the government to knock at their door. Reagan was making a veiled reference to the fact that human nature is corrupt. Judges can be convinced to sign search warrants when provided with bribes or threatened. Moreover, there is also the potential for police officers or FBI agents to plant contraband or other illegal items in one's home. A duffel bag of cash promised to a judge cannot be tracked. Making matters worse is that a homeowner cannot prove a FBI agent or police officer planted illegal items during an ensuing search. Even if activity in the interior of the home is being recorded for security purposes, the prosecution can argue the video recording was modified using artificial intelligence. The FBI shouldn't be able to reach your text messages. Existing and potential enemies of the state want to know, why does the FBI conduct surveillance of Americans' communications? In addition to the power to search a private citizen's home, the feds can also eavesdrop on your communications. As an example, the FBI recently released a statement acknowledging racist and offensive text messages were sent to black Americans. The text allegedly told racial minorities to head to the nearest plantation to pick cotton. The FBI is aware of the offensive and racist text messages sent to individuals around the country and is in contact with the Justice Department and other federal authorities on the matter, FBI spokesperson said. Though the FBI should look into the matter, we have every right to question why the government gang is allowed to read our text messages. Such messages are private correspondence that should be limited to senders, readers, and possibly a select few authorized telecommunication company employees. The FBI should be required to obtain a warrant to read even a single text message sent or received by a private citizen. Though the FBI won't come clean on the extent of its reach, it is likely working in tandem with the Federal Communications Commission Enforcement Bureau. The FBI spokesperson who addressed the issue admitted the Bureau is in communication with the Department of Justice on the matter. Conspiracy theorists are justified in questioning whether it was the FBI itself or another wing of the federal government that sent the messages. Such a transmission would amount to a diabolical psyop designed to lay the groundwork for ever-expanding federal surveillance reach. The FBI is coming for your text messages next. It looks like we're trending toward corporate fascism, in which corporations such as telecommunication companies are in cahoots with the feds. It might not be long until we can clearly distinguish between corporations and federal authorities. Whoever is responsible for this did some real research, not putting together the target list, but also crafting a message that had info that made it seem real. Kenneth Gray, a retired FBI special agent, said, "If we pivot all the way to corporate fascism years ahead, we likely see the return of company towns. Moreover, the Big Brother surveillance conducted by federal government will merge into one with corporate surveillance. We need to do our part to ensure the state does not become a corporation. Moreover, we should not tolerate any form of text message oversight beyond telecom service providers." Thomas Massey is pushing back against the intrusive state. Massey is quick to point out there are differences in government regulations of text messages, email, and social media. The federal government regulates our text messages similar to a utility. The same is not true of email and social media. Though there is no system designed to flag racist text messages, the feds appear to be able to access all of our text. Massey wants to change that. The FBI has access to secure messaging apps, data as detailed here. The truth no one wants to learn is that the FBI can access messages, including those that are encrypted. As long as the FBI adheres to legal process, it can access metadata, including that stored within private messages. The law of parsimony should be applicable to government. Let's hope Thomas Massie shrinks government to the point that it has two functions, national defense and a handful of regulations. It would be even better if Massie and fellow Republicans could repeal portions of the Government Surveillance Act dubbed FISA. Ideally, the feds wouldn't be capable of obtaining warrants for electronic surveillance of any American citizen. Such an outcome would restrict FISA's jurisdictional range to foreign lands. The time has come to remove all surveillance cameras and microphones from public spaces and even businesses. We must say no to Chinese-style social credit scores and government-mandated transhumanism. Liberty-loving Americans will embrace the law of parsimony, applying it directly to government. We must unite to simplify and shrink Big Brother until he becomes a little brother pipsqueak that we barely even notice.
Excellent.
Little brother pipsqueak. I love it. Thank you, Sir Dan. Sir Dan, who's this warning from?
Classy Thomas Massie.
Okay, all right. Thank you. I think
I'll look it up.
All right, thank you so much.
Thank you.
Classy Massie. Mm-hmm. Thank you, Thomas Massie. Classy Thomas Massie. All right, I think we're going to hear a blogger's comment about that in a few minutes. All right, thank you again. I mean, there's a reason all this is coming to the forefront. I hope you guys know. But we're going to take a minute for a commercial break, and after that, Daylene, get ready with your poem. All right, let's go. All right, good.
Are you feeling like something strange is happening in your life? You tell others, but nobody believes you? Well, get ready to uncover the truth with GoGi Justice's groundbreaking book, GoGi's 10 Signs Which Indicate You're a Targeted Individual. GoGi Justice, an everyday person just like you, has written a book that exposes the covert illegal activities happening right under our noses. With a writing style that's raw, honest, and relatable, GoGi takes you on a journey through the dark world of targeted individuals. You'll ask yourself if you are experiencing these signs. Learn about infiltration, gang stalking, privacy violations, and even hacked home appliances. GoGi's book is a beacon of hope, providing encouragement, tips, and resources for those who find themselves trapped in this nightmare. It's time to fight back and regain control of your life. So if you're tired of feeling isolated, unheard, and targeted, grab a copy of GoGi's 10 Signs Which Indicate You're a Targeted Individual. Available now on Amazon.com and the Targeted Justice Etsy shop. Don't let them silence you any longer. Take the first step towards understanding, empowerment, and freedom. Get your copy today and join the movement. GoGi Justice's book, A Voice for the Targeted Individuals.
Don't forget to get your book. All right. Daylene, we're ready to hear from you. Nice little poetry break, guys.
Mm-hmm. The title of the poem is The Click. There's a click. It's filled with rumors and with lies, yet each one within the click feels proud, so wise and mighty, at least in their own eyes. Who cares about their neighbor or even their own soul when it is the click instead of heaven that truly is their goal? They've no time to think of God above or eternity in hell. They're too busy spreading lies and toxic venom to the others, wicked sisters, wicked brothers, and they live within the darkness of their own making, faking, while from others always taking. Sworn unto their motto, God forsaking, do not tell.
Beautiful. Thank you. I love it. All right. Do you have another one that you can come back with a little later?
Sure. Maybe next week?
Next week. Sounds great. Thank you, Daylene. Thank you for sharing your talent with us. Loved it. The click. All right. Okay. Major P, you ready? I love this one, guys. I love this. And if you can't see the signs, okay, they're dealing with text messages. They're putting the FBI on blast that they're looking at our text messages. And this one Well, you'll hear about it. Go ahead, Major P.
I'm sorry, Coach. My vigilantes must have beat me to it because I didn't get anything in my email.
No? Wow. Okay.
Sorry about that.
I think I have it. I think I have that one. Let me see. Okay. This one is about, let me see if I can pull it up real quick, guys. Look at my sent. Okay. And we have been sending out a lot of emails. Okay, I'm gonna. Here we go. All right, we might have to come back to it. I know it's here though. All right, so this one is about the privatization of the USPS. And the reason I like it is because they won't be able to go through our mail, okay? Because now that it's with the government, they do go through our mail. I'm sorry, I'm looking as I talk. But we're going to skip that and come back to it. Somebody will find it. All right, let's move to the next one. I'm not finding it fast enough. Okay. All right, so the next one. All right, USAP. All right, this I saw. I think this was a Targeted Justice newsletter, and they had a good definition of USAP. So let me give that. I'm sorry, guys. Hope we don't have to skip that one too. One minute. Oh, here I have the USPS. All right. Let me see if it pops right up. Okay. Trump eyes privatizing U.S. Postal Service, citing financial losses. All right, so his reason for doing it, and this is December 14th. I just have a short clip about it because they're not going to let me see it unless I buy something from the Washington Post. And it says, Trump feuded with the mail agency in his first term, privatizing it could shake up consumer shipping and business supply chains. Okay, so that's an article on December 14th in the Washington Post. And, of course, the reason, we're looking at it and following it is because if they do privatize it, then it's not under government purview. All right. And Liliana has a commentary about it, so we'll look at that later. All right. So next we want to look at the Utah nurse who was arrested, and I'll come back to USAP. We're going to listen to this audio clip, Lady T.
All righty. Hold on. Give me a second, guys. I was looking for that article. I sent it to Pat.
Thank you.
Welcome. Now I got to get back on track. Sorry. I lost my.
Okay, no problem. No problem. All right, you want me to go to the next one and come back?
No, we doing the Utah nurse, right?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, I'm ready.
All right.
Okay.
Hi, this is Attorney Michael Pariente of the Carnegie Law Firm PC, John G. Watkins of Counsel. I'm a criminal defense lawyer here in Las Vegas. I've been practicing law for nearly 18 years in the area of criminal defense. Today I want to talk to you about a very disturbing video that I'm sure you've seen or you've heard about, where a very brave woman, a nurse in Utah, refused to go against the law and go against hospital policy to take blood at the direction of an officer of a person who was suspected of being perhaps under the influence. And I say suspected of perhaps being under the influence. There was no reason that the officer had to believe that the person was under the influence of a controlled substance. They didn't have probable cause. But in any event, what happened was the officer demanded that this nurse take this suspect's blood, even though there was no reason to believe that this person was under the influence. This was a situation where it was a very serious car accident. The person who was brought to the hospital was horribly burned and was put in the burn unit. The officer demanded that she take the person's blood. Let's go ahead and take a look at that video, and I'll answer some questions about that.
I printed this off. I'm going to pull the print off. Brad, I'm just putting on speaker so you can. So I have this. It says obtaining blood samples for police enforcement from patients suspected to be under the influence. Okay? This is something that you guys agreed to with this hospital. The three things that allow us to do that are if you have an electronic warrant, patient consent, or patient under arrest. And neither of those things, the patient can't consent. He told me repeatedly that he doesn't have a warrant, and the patient is under arrest. So I'm just trying to do what I'm supposed to do. That's all. So
I take it without those in place, I'm not going to get blood. Is that? Am I fair to surmise that?
Alex, you're not right. Yeah. I don't know. I have no idea why he's blamed. I'm just representing. Why are you blaming the messenger?
She's the one that has told me no.
Yeah, but sir, you're making a huge mistake right now. You're making a huge mistake because you're threatening it.
Okay. No, we're done. We're done. You're under arrest. Go. We're done. She can sit in my car while they're coming.
It's unnecessary, man. This is my apartment. This is completely unnecessary. Completely unnecessary.
She's under arrest.
That's fine, but it doesn't have to do with her job.
Okay, I'm doing what I know. She does hers.
That's fine.
Okay? I'm leaving now. With her.
So, Brad,
anybody who wants to permit that, that's your option. You will be taking them. Okay? So, take your hand off her, please.
Now, when you watch this very offensive video and you see this officer acting in this manner, you may ask yourself, what exactly was he trying to arrest her for? What was he thinking he could arrest her for? Well, the answer is he can't arrest her for anything. It'd be a different situation if, let's say, that she received an order, a search warrant, that is ordering the taking of the blood of this person. And let's say it's a lawful search warrant. And in that situation, say the officer presented her with a search warrant, she refused to comply. That would be a situation where this nurse could be convicted of obstructing justice. The officer would have had a basis to arrest her. But in this situation, the officer had no basis to order her to do something illegal. So she cannot be arrested and convicted for obstructing justice. There was no search warrant. The person who was unconscious could not consent, obviously, because he was unconscious. And there wasn't even a probable cause or reasonable suspicion, which is a lower standard than probable cause, to take blood from this person. So she was brave and absolutely in the right to refuse the officer's unlawful command. So when the officer arrested her and thought he could charge her, have her convicted of obstructing justice, He was 100% wrong. Now, if you're in a situation where you're charged with obstructing justice, give us a call. I'm more than happy to meet with you in person. Or if you're calling from out of state, call us. Let's talk over the phone about how we can help you.
What agency is saying that we can call them? Do you see it there, Lady T? But very interesting video because. Okay, so we'll get that.
Hold on, let me see if I can find it.
Okay, that very interesting video because even her supervisor was like, "Wait a minute," she answers to me, and she's standing for the law, and she was standing on the law, and so really, such an overreach right there, and I don't know exactly what that I would love to see. Really review the details of that a little bit more. So, but we want to certainly get the information of the agency who is saying that we can reach out to them if we are unjustly arrested. Okay, so we'll get that to you. When you have it, let me know. I'm going to move on to the Minnesota law. And this law in Minnesota, they passed a bill. It's Bill S-1110, Protection from Mind Manipulation. It's a bill for an act relating to data privacy, establishing neurodata rights, modifying certain crimes to add neurodata elements, providing civil and criminal penalties, amending Minnesota Statutes 2022, Sections 13.04 by adding a subdivision 609.88, Subdivision 2, 609.891, Subdivision 3, proposing code for new law in Minnesota Statutes, Chapter 325E, be it enacted by the legislature of the state of Minnesota. Section 1, let me try to get to the nitty-gritty. An individual has the right to mental privacy. Really. We have a right, guys, to mental privacy. So Minnesota is putting this out. A government entity must not, without informed consent, collect data transcribed directly from brain activity. Mm-hmm. And I know we have people in Minnesota with who's done the scan and has frequency. So this is really very, very helpful. An individual has the right to cognitive liberty. A government entity must not interfere with the free and competent decision-making of the individual when making neurotechnology decisions. Section 2. For purposes of this section, the following terms have the meanings given. Okay, and they deal with these meanings. Brain-computer interface means a device that enables its user to interact with a computer by means of brain activity only. I'll read that again. It means a device that enables its user to interact with a computer by means of brain activity only. So it's the computer and the brain. Consciousness bypass means the use of neurotechnology to manipulate brain activity by applying electrical or optical stimuli without the conscious awareness of the person whose brain activity is being manipulated. Neurotechnology means the assembly of methods and instruments that enable a direct connection of technical components with the nervous system. An individual, this is the neurotechnology rights, an individual has the right to change one's decisions regarding neurotechnology and the right to determine by what means to change that decision. An individual has the right to mental integrity and is afforded protection from neurotechnological inventions of the mind and from unauthorized access to or manipulation of an individual's brain activities. An individual has the right to psychological continuity and is afforded protection from unauthorized neurotechnological alterations in mental functions critical to personality. Really good rules here. Data collection consent. Each time an individual connects with a brain-computer interface, the company responsible for recording and storing the data must provide notice of, 1, the uses of the data may be used by the company, and 2, the third parties with which the data will be shared. Before the data may be used or shared, the individual must provide consent for each use and third party. The individual must approve each of us. Getting ahead of myself. I saw us all moving to Minnesota and putting this law in effect. Okay. The individual must approve each use and third party using a separate consent form. Number 4, consciousness bypass prohibition. So I'm going to read just the subtitles, and this is a law that we need to really check out. Consciousness bypass prohibition, enforcement, civil penalty. And let's look at the civil penalty. A company that violates subdivision 3 or 4 is subject to a civil penalty of up to, hear this, $10,000 per incident. The Attorney General may bring in action in the name of the state in a court of competent jurisdiction to recover civil penalties as provided in this subdivision. Anyone who is in Minnesota needs to pick this up and look at it really carefully. Listen to this one. This is another penalty. Whoever commits computer damage may be sentenced as follows. Computer damage to imprisonment for not more than 10 years or to payment of a fine of not more than $50,000 or both. If the damage, destruction, or alteration results in a loss in excess of $2,500 to the owner or to the owner's agent or lessee, or the damage, destruction, or alteration occurs to a computer having a brain-computer interface regardless of the damage of the value of the loss. So this is some really good statutes, and we need to really look at them, because if we like them, we can look at them, mark them up, and recommend them for our state. New administration is coming, and it will be more favorable to the things that we need to protect targeted individuals. All right, so I just wanted to bring that to our attention. Do you have it, Lady T?
I do have it, but I have something.
Huh? But what happened?
I have something else.
You have. Okay. Go ahead with something else. Yes.
After you read that law.
Mm-hmm. Stand up, T.I. When I move, you move.
Just like that. Just like that. Just like that.
Just like that. All right. Stand up, TIs. We're getting ready for the inauguration. We're gonna play that a few more times as we go into the drones. I was talking with a doctor, a physician, who said he was targeted, and he said that when he gets out and moves about, it's like when I move, you move. He reminded me of this song by Ludacris. When I move, you move, just like that. So and that's how they do, and that's our theme tonight as we head on into the drones. Is when I move, you move, because there they are all around us, right? Okay, so before we do that, we have another commercial, and then we have a special taste from the J.A.M Voices, and the J.A.M Voices will be rehearsing because we're going to do Christmas carols coming up soon. It's almost Christmas. All right. Ready, Tranquility.
Welcome to TIEvents.org, your official insider for the targeted individual community. As the go-to source for all TI events, we're here to keep you in the loop with the latest and greatest happenings. Discover daily conference calls, meetups, and exclusive events across the USA, all at your fingertips. Plus, planning a TI event? Advertise with us for free and connect directly with the TI community. TIEvents.org is not just a website. It's your gateway to a world of information, connection, and empowerment for TIs everywhere. TIEvents.org, your official insider. Dive in and discover today.
And now the J.A.M. voices.
Amen. There comes a time when we heed a certain call, when the world must come together as one.
There are people dying, or when it's time to lend a hand to life, the greatest gift of all. We can't go on pretending day by day that someone soon will make a change. We're all a part of God's great big family. And the truth, love is all we need.
We're in the world. We are God's children. We are the ones who make a brighter day. So let's start giving.
There's a choice we're making. God is saving all our lives. It's true, we make a better day, just you and me.
Well, send them your heart so they know someone cares and their life can be stronger and free.
As God has shown us by turning stones to bread, and so we all must lend a helping hand. We're in the world. We are all God's children. We are the ones who make a brighter day. So let's start giving.
We're in the world. We are God's children. We are the ones who make a brighter day. So let's start giving.
We're in the world. We are God's children. We are the ones who make a brighter day. So let's start giving.
There's a choice we're making. God is saving all our lives. It's true, we'll make a better day. Just you and me.
All right. Them J.A.M. voices. Thank you, guys. That was beautiful. That we taped that a while ago, and we're getting together again to spread some glee for the season. If you have a voice and you like to share your talent, send me an email, the Justice Action Meeting at proton.me. We'll start rehearsing soon. We're going to be singing on Dr. Millicent Black's Christmas Eve show next week, and we'll share a little bit with the J.A.M. We'll probably have an abbreviated J.A.M., and we'll have some singing. So let's get in the spirit of the season, guys. All right. So that said, Queen Liliana, you were going to do something with Classy Massey as well. And then we have a clip from Ryan, and then we're going to get ready for our special guest. All right. So go ahead, Liliana. Ready for you.
Okay. The Classy Thomas Massey is blogger, admirer, and follower of Thomas Massey, and he's a very intelligent man, and he writes very well. So he says that Thomas Massey confirms the incoming 119th Congress, that it could shrink big government for good. Here in the United States, far too many problems we face stem from an inflated, overzealous government. Politicians and others with a radical liberal agenda often promote government involvement as the solution rather than a problem. Yet, time and time again, we see just how much harm is caused without necessary constraints. Over the years, the government has spiraled out of control. Agencies like the FBI and CIA have become nakedly partisan and full-fledged perpetrators of a two-tiered justice system. Conservatives routinely come under siege by not just these organizations, but others like the IRS. In less than 1 month, the current 118th Congress will come to an end. Replacing it is the 119th Congress, where Republicans will have a majority in both the House and Senate. As pointed out by conservative Representative Thomas Massey, this presents a wonderful opportunity to finally shrink the size of government for good. Then he posts a tweet from Thomas Massey, and Thomas Massey says, "The new Congress begins on January the 3rd, but President Trump doesn't take office until January the 20th. With majorities in the House and the Senate, we should have at least a dozen bills to shrink government overreach on his desk, awaiting his signature by the first day of his term." And then he says, the stakes are higher than ever. President Trump's victory, this is classy Thomas Massey. President Trump's victory happened against all odds. It happened in spite of the radical leftist agenda to steal another election. The same can also be said for Republicans taking back control in the House of Representatives, despite Democrats' best efforts to hold on to the lower chamber. Now that we've won some big battles, more lie ahead. For far too long, the government has gotten progressively bigger and more intrusive in the lives of everyday Americans. Elites are treated as kings, allowed to rule over people with few checks and balances. We, the people, finally decided enough is enough. Righting the wrongs that have taken place for years won't happen overnight. However, with the right leadership and grassroots support, we have the numbers, drive, and grit to get this nation back on track. In the months and years ahead, don't be afraid to call your congressional representatives in the 119th Congress and remind them to work closely with President Trump. As pointed out by Representative Thomas Massey, an immense opportunity lies ahead of us. It is now time to roll up our sleeves and get to work.
All right, absolutely. Thank you, Liliana.
You're welcome.
It is indeed time to roll up our sleeves and get to work. New Congress takes their office on January 3rd. and then the inauguration is on January 20th. Again, I hope you'll meet us there. Thank you for that, and I'm so happy about what's going on, all over. All right, so we're going to hear another part of Ryan. Remember, Ryan is the one who had a meeting with the FBI, and he's a TI. He became a TI he's a private investigator who became targeted from helping the TI community. And this is his meeting with the FBI. We're going to listen to this clip. And by the way, if anyone knows, we haven't been able to get in touch with Ryan, so if you do have any knowledge of his whereabouts, please do share that with me. All right. And then we're going to get with our guest. All right. So the clip is, let's go.
We try and explain to them regardless of their circumstance, do your very best. We ask about shielding. The closest thing we can get to is either a patent for an electromagnetic field generator, which can be good and bad for you, right? So, or water shielding. I mean, it's ridiculous. Once an EMF can literally penetrate just about anything. A bunker. These are infra and ultrasound weapons that were, internationally.
And then, like you said, if they feel like someone is telling them to go hurt themselves or others, the first thing I think of, obviously, is like weapons and home. Is that accessible? Like, if there's someone that can take that gun from you, like, do y'all ever have that fear that they're going to just react one morning like that?
I'll be honest, because, again, I do believe in our Second Amendment. I think without it we would have been invaded, or we'd end up like Australia, because that didn't end up really well for them, did it? Being honest. So they're also having a significant problem with this same thing. So we try to stay out of their affairs. Obviously, the constitutional rights violations, not to mention we're talking Nuremberg Code. A lot of these people, because of certain PM technologies, they're collecting medical data, like real time. They're analyzing this, monitoring this data. It's terrible. We have certain victims, to be honest with you, that, have been human trafficked. Others that have been told to do things like Mr. Santiago had a gentleman that took a firearm into an Austin airport and relinquished it to the TSA, was arrested, had to go through court, gave up the firearm, paid $5,000, but he was told to go in and do this, that he was going to meet someone. On our website, even though I've got to update it, we have what's called a psycho ops section, and we outline the tactics that these ROVs and the operators use. So if you have people reach out to you that say... Yes, sir. To answer your question, the fact is, we send them to medical services if we feel they're suicidal or, we're not doctors. I'm not. And granted, yeah. So one of our doctors is a eye doctor, which is great because in the way she's explained the occipital lobe and basically using your head like an old set of rabbit ears. So it's streamed through your secondary optical nerve, and these people literally have these 2D perceptions. So they start seeing, believe it or not, they'll see like shadows or little holograms of people, and it's terrifying. It's like the real life version of the Matrix, to be honest with you. And it does exist, and what I try to do, at least in that small brief, because our main brief is about, it's huge. Yeah. But we prove every aspect, delivery, methods, meaning back tracing. We backtrace certain networks through the Navy, the Air Force, the CIA, Langley. Granted, we understand that it's used for a lot of different things, right? But to be used as a weapon, you're literally creating terrorism. It's not preventing it. Well, that was going to be my next question. Who do you blame? Like, who's the source of this? Who do you perceive as being the main agitator in this? Again, I want to stay objective, but if you think about a certain agency that has had a checkered past in certain things like Monarch to Guinea Pig, MK Ultra, it doesn't take a leap of the imagination to assume that this is the new MK Ultra or close to, right? So it induces the same things. If you want to make someone feel euphoric, they can do that. If you want them to feel sad, happy, like they were on a barbiturate, or granted they can, it's all there. So, and it's remote. It's very hard to trace. And we try.
He got in. I mean, so I don't know if you could hear the question the FBI agent asked him is, who do you think the agitator is? Because Ryan began to explain the symptoms that TIs go through with the holograms and this and that. He asked him, who do you think is the agitator? And he didn't say directly, you guys, he didn't say. He said, well, if you think about Monarch and, MK Ultra and, so that they were able to do A, B, C, and D, so, and COINTELPRO. So he threw the words out there. He threw the things that they were able to do back then and kind of like as if to say, draw your own conclusion. So just very wise and so forth. So I definitely would love to have him on the call. All right. So, now we're getting ready for our special guest, and the theme is, what about them drones? All right. So we're going to have to look for him because he came on. We don't see his number, but we can find him if everyone will just cooperate. And our special guest tonight is MAP newscaster, and he's an influencer on social media platforms, and he talks our story, TI, and he shares different things. And I've seen his videos about drones for the longest time, and so I wanted to get his view on what is going on, why all of a sudden is this an epidemic. All right, so if you would just mute yourselves unless you're MAP, then we can work with you. Tranquility, can you lead us?
Hi, MAP. Are you here? Is MAP News in the house?
Hello. MAP News, we need to hear from you.
Is MAP News in the house?
I don't hear him.
Me neither.
Okay, if not, we're going to continue on with on the call. All right, we'll continue on with the drones. I know I spoke to him earlier, so he was supposed to be here. All right, MAP, if you're here, we can't see you. We can't hear you. All right, let's close down. All right, guys. So his what his take is similar to mine, and also to a professional who trains about PSYOPs. So first, let's look at what's being said. What I really want us to see is that FISA, they're dealing with FISA. They're dealing with the text messages that the FBI has been, that the FBI is looking at our text messages. They're dealing with the drones. So now let's look at how they're dealing with the drones and how they're presenting the drones to the nation. All right, I'm ready. Lady T, let's take the first one. Let's take a clip, a collage clip, and then I'm going to read a little bit from the Washington Post.
Okay.
Right.
The rumors are true.
Can you comment on the drones that are flying around New Jersey reports? It seems like the American people have a big deal. The government knows what is happening. Look, our military knows where they took off from. If it's a garage, they can go right into that garage. They know where it came from and where it went. And for some reason, they don't want to comment. And I think they'd be better off saying what it is our military knows and our president knows. And for some reason, they want to keep people in suspense. I can't imagine it's the enemy, because it was the enemy that blasted, even if they were late, that blasted. Something strange is going on. For some reason, they don't want to tell the people, and they should. Oh, something's going on really fast. Plane. I can't tell what it is. Oh, is that?
All right.
She's intrigued.
I'm sorry?
Whatever the green flashing one is, she will quick around it. Get it? Super quick. Whatever it was, just shut down the drone. That was a drone.
I vehemently disagree with any assertion that either the FBI or the Defense Department have any clear idea what this phenomenon is over the East Coast of the States. I'm talking to people in the FBI who are utterly baffled by this phenomenon. They tell me they do not know what these are, getting answers. I'm told that these objects are the size of an SUV, a large SUV, so the argument from the congressman that these objects are too small to detect is correct. I'm told that there have been attempts to interdict these objects and that there have been the deployment of anti-drone technology. Information in the last few minutes about the PEG nuclear site at Salem, Hope Creek Generating Station, 140-acre site in Salem County, New Jersey, and a person who has access to the internal messaging about that has told me that they tried to deploy anti-drone technology over multiple drones that were seen over the nuclear site, and that anti-drone technology, which normally works on all drones, completely. These objects are being seen not just on the East Coast, they are being seen world. I'm getting reports from here in Australia, from Japan, Indonesia, China, Russia, Europe.
It's smooth sailing at New York International Airport Saturday night, unlike the nearly hour-long delay the evening prior after a drone in the airspace stopped all flights. Drones have been on the tri-state since mid-November. The FBI says they've received about 5,000 leads since then.
Oh, and so they're just giant triangles with lights on them that are dead silent.
And then there's this video sent to NBC4. A viewer saying, 2 drones just after 6 o'clock. Similar sightings are spreading on the East Coast, New York, New Jersey.
I've never seen any do it.
They don't really do this thing. They're just flying around. And then there was like 5 of them that we watched from northwest to directly west over the hill of California and directly towards the sea.
Okay. All right. That one, I'm going to go to Dronegate. So they're calling it Dronegate, and it says the White House caught up in Dronegate cover-up. White House spokesman Kirby denies drone incursions despite New Jersey military base confirming 11 breaches. Okay, so Biden's White House is downplaying reports of unauthorized drone activity over military installations in New Jersey. National Security Council spokesman John Kirby categorically denied any confirmed incursions, dismissing over 3,000 reports of car-sized drones as mistaken sightings of helicopters or airplanes. Love this. Kirby's assurances, however, directly contradict statements from military officials at New Jersey's Picatinny Arsenal and Naval Weapons Station Earl, both of which have confirmed unauthorized drone breaches in recent weeks. Unauthorized drone breaches. During a press briefing on Thursday, Kirby claimed, "We have no evidence at this time that the reported drone sightings pose a national security or a public safety threat or have a foreign nexus. The Department of Homeland Security and the FBI are investigating these sightings, and they're working closely with state and local law enforcement to provide resources using numerous detection methods to better understand their origin, using very sophisticated electronic detection technologies provided by federal authorities. We have not been able to, and neither have state or local law enforcement authorities, corroborate any of the reported visual sightings. To the contrary, upon review of available imagery, it appears that many of the reported sightings are actually manned aircraft that are being operated lawfully. The United States Coast Guard is providing support to the state of New Jersey and has confirmed that there is no evidence of any foreign base involvement from coastal vessels, and importantly, there are no reported or confirmed drone sightings in any restricted airspace. Yet, in stark contrast, Picatinny Arsenal has confirmed at least 11 drone incursions, and Naval Weapons Station Earl reported 2 separate incidents of drones entering their airspace, according to NJ.com. We are aware and monitoring the reports of unauthorized drone flights in the vicinity of naval installations in New Jersey, to include Picatinny Arsenal and Naval Weapons Station Earl, and we refer you to those installations for information on any efforts on any efforts they have something wrong grammatically. Conducting to ensure the safety and security of their personnel and operations, the spokesperson said. Local law enforcement and the FBI are currently investigating, the spokesperson added. U.S. Northern Command conducted a deliberate analysis of the events in consultation with other military organizations and interagency partners, and at this time we have not been requested to assist with these events. Investigative journalist Ross Coulthart wrote on X, this statement from White House National Security spokesperson Adam Kirby is a direct contradiction to a statement issued by the New Jersey Picatinny Arsenal Base Admiral Kirby says there's been no reported or confirmed drone incursions in restricted airspace. Yet the base says there's been 11 confirmed. Why would a White House spokesperson recklessly issue such a misleading and false claim? The conflicting narratives have sparked outrage among lawmakers from New York and New Jersey, with demands for a federal briefing on the incidents. Concerns are mounting that the administration is either dismissing or deliberately downplaying potential security breaches at critical military installations. Ooh. All right. A little more. Rep. Marjorie Taylor Greene is blasting the Pentagon over the lack of transparency about the drones being spotted flying over New Jersey. I'm going to call it total BS that no one knows what these are, Greene said in the video. They can track down a man that just killed a CEO, but they can't identify what nightly drones are. She said nightly, right? Nightly drones are and where they're coming from. Greene said the government was lying about not knowing who these drones belong to or where they are coming from. Okay. So, and then the beat goes on. I mean, so they're creating mayhem around these drones. What's interesting to me is, and I don't know how many TIs has reported this, and I wanted MAP Newscaster to talk on it because I know that he's taken videos, video footage. He's reported it to different law enforcement agencies and so forth. And he's been really, and he puts it on his social media, and other people. Lady T, you do it as well. Take video clips of drones and still shots, and I have some because I and in the book, in my book, in GoGi's 10 Signs Which Indicate You Are a Targeted Individual, I talk about a fake constellation. Like I would have a whole sky outside of my house, and it was not. Then I would see the stars, and they would twinkle and they would move. I said, wait a minute, this is not like, you know how when you're young and you talk to look at the Big Dipper and the Little Dipper, and you can identify things. None of that. This was just different stuff. It was drones, and I thought I was calling them satellites. I don't know, but they were drones and just a whole sky of stuff that was not real. And so now, and how many times have you as a TI called in because there were aircrafts or helicopters or drones or stuff in the sky, and nobody would listen? So the question really becomes is, did somebody get attention and it get on the media without, even though, because they're told not to listen to us and not to, cover us on the media. So did it slip through, or does the government want it to slip through? And when you look at stuff like this Dronegate, it sounds like it slipped through because they're trying to downplay. Oh, they said it did not happen. Like there's no sightings. And one person said that, and the other person said, oh yeah, we have 11. Well, we have 2. So, this is very interesting. All right, let's hear another clip, Lady T, and then when I move, you move to the theme for the drones, and then I want to hear. Okay, so let's hear a few more of what's going on.
Are we doing the White House video, or are you doing the second collage?
Did you do Arkansas already?
No.
Okay, Arkansas, the White House, and another collage. Yeah.
Okay.
Okay.
All right. Let's do Arkansas.
Okay.
All right.
What's it going to take then? What do you think is going to happen in the New Jersey area? If these drone incursions continue and they're showing no signs of abating in the New Jersey area, in fact, they're spreading. I'm hearing reports now from Pennsylvania, and I've even spoken to a lady in Arkansas who's telling me she's seeing objects over her property. If this continues to escalate, I mean, obviously the mayors in New Jersey aren't going to let go, but more importantly, what do you think the public mood's going to become?
I think the longer you go without getting some sort of answer, something at all, it's just going to allow people to fill in the blanks in their heads and maybe create narratives that may not be true, or it allows for speculation to grow. And I think the longer you go, the more outlandish people are going to start thinking.
Katie, there's one story I'm personally interested in because I've had people emailing me about it. It was allegations, that they are only allegations, that there was an object brought down near a reservoir in part of New Jersey. And indeed, people posted flashing police lights, people on the ground, and what appeared to be some kind of luminous object that was tilted on its side. Have you been able to investigate that allegation? Have you heard about what I'm talking about?
I have heard of a few reports of drones coming down, but I haven't been able to get anywhere with any of them because they've all either come back as they're a toy or they are unfounded. If there is anything to them, it's being very, very closely covered up. But no, we haven't heard anything beyond, just the speculation and the rumors that you've heard.
And I want to make one comment. The last video that I played, when the lady was observing a drone, what she was observing, one of the drones took down another drone, and it fell from the sky. That's what she was observing.
Wow. My goodness, what in the heck is going on?
Yes.
And I hear that people now there's also conversation about should we shoot them down or not, because I remember there was some of the, I think it was the elected officials were like, well, if we don't know what they are, shoot them down, and but I don't know. Did something happen when somebody tried to shoot one down? Maybe we'll hear it in one of the clips.
Yeah,
go ahead. What happened?
They took them in.
So we won't be shooting any down. We're not shooting the drones down. Okay.
Exactly. But now that I think about it, as I was watching that video, that was actually what was happening. Now that I think about, as I listened to her over again, I remember I was thinking about the visual of what was going on in the video when she was going, oh, it looked like it took it down. That's exactly what it did.
Wow.
That's exactly what the other drone did.
Wow.
So I'm going to go back
one
and
drone to
the
Okay.
All right. Go to the
All right.
video.
There are things flying overhead that they don't know their nature, and therefore it needs to be figured out, and especially if these things belong to adversarial nations. So I think it's a priority to figure out what these things are, and I'm leading the Galileo project at Harvard University. We built one observatory that monitors the sky 24/7. We just released a paper that discusses the first 500,000 objects that we found in the sky, some of which we couldn't identify, and we are building 2 other observatories in order to figure out whether there are any extraterrestrial gadgets out there.
Do you have at least $20,000 in cash?
Oh, no, I didn't mean to do
that UFO. Okay. That UFO issue, of course, the extraterrestrial issue comes up as well now that they're, when they start talking about the drones. But, we kind of know what's going on. All right. You have more? Yes, ma'am.
You ready?
Yes.
A drone over the San Fernando Gardens community. That was at 4 o'clock this morning when she sent that over to our newsroom, with multiple other sightings across our part of the country. A TikTok user captured video of possibly 5 drones in Riverside. They've been spotted in Temecula as well earlier this week. So exactly what's going on? Temecula is near Camp Pendleton, a military base, but the Marines say they're not involved. Riverside County Sheriff, he suggests the drones could be from Southern California Edison, which inspects power lines with drones. However, the utility company says they don't fly drones at night. The Riverside County Sheriff's Office has received no formal reports, but is referring all concerns this morning to the FAA, which is now investigating. Well, the sightings began last month in New Jersey with reports of large drones, some the size of a car, flying at night. Since then, they've appeared in New York, Pennsylvania, Minnesota, and California. One local TikTok user captured footage of at least 10 drones flying over the city, saying that they vanished after turning off their lights.
For me, it leads me to believe that there is a true uncertainty about what's going on here. I find it hard to believe that the Biden administration can continue this policy of cognitive dissonance on this topic. Hundreds of people are seeing these events. They've occurred not just this year, but years in the past in the same area. And this is now a reoccurring trend that we need to come to terms with and be able to deal from a national security perspective and from a domain awareness perspective.
So as a former F-18 pilot and a trained pilot, obviously still, why don't we just shoot a couple of these down when they're over a rural area, which they are every single night in New Jersey, and get a look at them?
Ultimately, our systems that we typically employ, especially on fighter aircraft, are not well designed for very small targets, both from a targeting perspective as well as a collateral damage perspective. But before we talk about shooting these down, we have a lot of investment, a lot of capabilities within our government to be able to identify objects at a distance. And we need to bring the full brunt of the government and the Pentagon's force at play here to be able to understand what these are, identify them, characterize them, and if need be at that point, choose a prime target to bring down and further inspect.
Do you have a sense or a theory based on your work as to what these are?
It's very tough to say. What we do know is that this is something that we have been dealing with for multiple years in this region of the country, starting at Virginia Beach, at Langley Air Force Base last year as well. And now we're having exponentially more sightings just hundreds of miles to the north. And it's not restricted to just people on the ground. My nonprofit, Americans for Safe Aerospace, has been receiving reports from commercial pilots, military pilots, and veterans for over a year now, showing how consistent and how problematic this issue is at altitude where they're flying around. We need to have a better coordinated response and actually listen to the people on the ground and in the air that are seeing things. And I would encourage them to use this as an opportunity to destigmatize this topic, encourage more reporting, whether that be through existing mechanisms or at safeaerospace.org, so that we have a true accounting and understanding of how prevalent this problem is.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So they moved away from shooting them down to the government should be able to identify them with all the technology we have. We should be able to see it. But very interesting. Do you have any others? Because I want to move to that planned event. So this guy who's a professional with PSYOPs talks about what's going on and the reason it could be going on. If you have any others, Let's do that first, and then let's hear that.
Okay. I have one more for you, and then we'll go to planned events.
They didn't make a sound. It was a couple hundred feet above us. You just didn't know what you were looking at. It was moving across the sky very quietly. And we kept saying to each other, like, Nick and I, like, what are we looking at? Like, are you getting the shot, and what the heck are we filming? There's a couple shots you can see where you can see that it's fixed wing, and it doesn't look like a plane. It almost looks like inverted. It sounds crazy as I say this now, Brian. Like that's what you're seeing on the screen. That's what we were seeing right above our heads, and it happened till about 11:30 at night. And then it started to die off, and I was like, we could stay out here all night. But I went to bed. This is my community. I've never seen these things in the sky over my community before. I went to bed thinking this is wild. These things are flying over our homes, over our residences. There's a military, Earls, which is a munitions depot just about a mile and a half behind me. They've reported sightings of these things above, and they said they're ready to take action if they need to. This is, for naysayers out there, this is real.
So how many did you see at once, Rich? Was it just the one?
No, I think we would see a couple at a time in various parts of the sky over this water.
And we'd be like, oh, we didn't get the shot on that one. And they'd be like, well, wait, we'll just wait. You know, I'm sure there'll be another one. And sure enough, like, one started creeping towards us. And it's like, it felt like I was in a bad sci-fi movie, like that it was just, that I was placed in, but it involved my actual hometown. It was very, very surreal.
I mean, to hear you saying this, again, it just sort of hits me in a different way coming from you. Wow.
The buzz is very big in the desert Southwest, where it's really never gone away after some weird happenings in the skies over Phoenix recently. And here's NBC's Robert Hager.
This is one of several home videos recorded that night last March. A few say they saw the lights as far as 100 miles north of Phoenix. Many more saw them over the city or to the south.
It was the evening of March 13th, 1997. People across Arizona, especially here in the valley, reported seeing a silent, miles-long V-shaped group of lights gliding quietly overhead. Was it a military mission? A prank, perhaps? Or visitors from outer space? The questions and confusion over the sighting have only grown during the prevailing years.
Some, like Jim and Bobby Lee, claim they saw even more.
Something was there. It was a structure. It was going 35 miles an hour. It was huge. It didn't make a sound. And you tell me what can do that.
Flying low is within half a mile of me. There's no plane path at that point, and it didn't act like a plane. A plane can't turn that fast, and it also had oddly spiral kinds of movements that you just don't see with a plane.
And so it was.
And there was no noise. Again, no noise. Yeah.
No noise. Rich, you were out on the story last night. Didn't know what to expect. Take it from there. I mean, what happened?
Off the top, I've been skeptical of this story. As a resident of New Jersey, as a journalist here, I thought it was going to be some sort of yahoos, and we would get a laugh out of this in several weeks. What happened yesterday completely changed my entire view on this story. Earlier in the afternoon, I was out with the Ocean City Sheriff's Department. They have a drone unit. They've investigated these things. They've saw a bunch over the weekend. We did not see any with them last night. I was coming back home. I got a tip. Monmouth County. They're spotting them in Monmouth County. That's where I live. So I raced up here, and I tried to figure out where the picture was that somebody sent me. And sure enough, I saw one. So I trailed it to a neighborhood, a dead-end street, and I got out of my car, and I took my phone out with my iPhone, and I couldn't really capture it, but I was staring literally at this drone 200 feet above me maybe. I called our photographer, Nick, and I said, get up here as soon as you possibly can. Meet me at this location, etc. I tracked a few more to the location where we are right now, over a body of water behind us. And I got to say, Brian, over the next 2 hours, we saw dozens and dozens of these things, and they look like nothing you've ever seen before.
Welcome to the TI community.
Exactly. This is the things we've been talking about. I can't imagine it being anything different. So we'll open up in a few minutes. But all right. So was that the last one?
Planned events.
Okay. So this gentleman, he deals with PSYOPs. He says he teaches PSYOPs. And he has his we're just going to listen to 1, 2, 3 his idea about it, and then I'll give you the tips that he shared later on, but I don't want to listen to the whole video. I'll open up in a minute. We expected Map News. We couldn't find him. I hope that I'm getting a message that something may be have gone on with him technologically. So if he joins us, that'll be fine. If not, then we'll just have our discussion, and we'll close. I do want to make some announcements, though, before we get off. So, all right, let's do this.
And I did send you that information about that attorney. It's parental law.
Okay, that was an attorney. What was the name of it?
Parental law. Yes. Parental law. Okay. And there's a phone number attached to the email, too.
Beautiful. All right. Okay. Thank you. Go ahead. All right.
Are we in the middle of a psychological operation right now? there are thousands of drone sightings.
I've never seen so many UFOs in my life.
And more weird stuff every single day. Alone, you deserve to know how to tell what the hell is going on. I'm the guy that trains PSYOPs. I'm the person that teaches this kind of stuff to companies and stuff. So the government's kind of gone from decades of denial to throwing around terms like UAPs, unidentified aerial phenomena, in official hearings. Add to that this sudden rise in reports of drones all over the place, these weird sightings and emergency declarations that are going on, I think in New Jersey right now. And it feels like we're being prepped for something. But what are we being prepared for? So let's dig in. So why would this be happening right now? So we're going to go both sides. It's aliens, it's not aliens. Let's do both sides here. Most governments don't just usually open up about things like this without a reason. With all governments, when they start pushing a narrative, it's most often to serve a bigger agenda, if this is deliberate. So here are 3 possible reasons I can think of why this might be happening. Number 1, a distraction tactic. When huge issues are brewing, like economic instability, political unrest, global crises, somebody's done something bad and it's about to get in the news, governments usually and very often create some kind of distraction. So remember when the Pentagon released UFO footage in 2020. That conveniently happened during a global pandemic, this chaotic thing that was going on around the entire world that we all suffered through. Number 2, using fear as a tool. So fear unites people. So if there is a threat big enough, and I want you to remember, if you're just listening to me right now, I'm sitting on your kitchen counter or something like that and you're making dinner, I said the word threat with huge quotes around it. If there's a threat big enough, like UFOs, people are more likely to trust their leaders, give up freedoms, and rally behind whatever solution that they're offered. It's the same playbook used during the Cold War. This was called the Red Scare, for that reason, or post 9/11 with the War on Terror and the Patriot Act. And then number 3, testing the waters. This goes back to BC years. All 3 of these things go back to the BC years. This is not something that's original. So governments tend to test and gauge how people react. So if we accept UFOs as real and we don't freak out, that means we can kind of escalate the narrative without any pushback. So think of it like kind of a slow drip instead of pouring it all out at one time. And if you want to...
Okay, so it could be for distraction. It could be for fear, to cause fear, so we'll give up certain liberties. Or it could be, he said, testing the waters. So, and that something, the distraction, he said something big could be coming. And I have my ideas about it, but I'd love to hear what everybody's thinking. My thing is, if they're dealing with these issues, all the issues that involve TIs, and a lot of the issues that involve TIs, particularly the drones, I don't know how many of us have called about airplanes, helicopters, drones, particularly through the night, following us everywhere and so forth, and got no response, no help from FAA or law enforcement or whoever we call, FBI if you call it FBI. But now all of a sudden it's an epidemic. They're talking about the drones everywhere. I just, it's baffling. So we can chat about it for a minute, but and then I want to prepare. I want us to talk about. I want to see. I want to make a few announcements. So let's play. If I move, you move, and let's go open up for Q&A, and then we'll close out for the night. All right. Uh-oh.
You want to hear it again?
All right. Thank you. No, thank you. So, Tranquility, do we have anybody in queue? And I'm waiting to see if I hear something from Matt, but go ahead. Okay.
First, it said I can ask my question, so that was me. This is Lynette.
Yes.
I'm in
Hi,
in
Lynette.
Colorado. Hi, and I met you, GoGi, at the Colorado Springs event. First of all, I wanted to say, if we were another country looking at what is being said, I would think they think we're complete morons. Because if they try to look at another country looking at it saying, oh, look, they don't know what it is, and they don't do nothing about it. Because I think if they took one down, they might find, the name of Lockheed on it or something. They find out who the owner is. Wouldn't that be like something to do?
Yeah, that's one of the things. A good point, Lynette. You're right. Because if there was first of all, there was a direct, the two reports were in direct opposition of one another. One said, "Oh, this is absolutely not. We checked this, we checked for foreign, we checked for this, and there are no proof of drone sighting." And then the other said, "Oh yeah, no, we saw 11." And then the third one said, "Oh, we saw 2." So it's like it's just direct opposition, and then no solution about what to do about these drone sightings. And so one of the commentators, I don't know if we heard that one tonight, mentioned we just had a Chinese balloon fly across, before.
Yeah. And they did nothing. They just let it blow across the sky.
Exactly. Just go on across the sky. It could have been filled with stuff, and at some point did a whole explosion or something. But and this is the same way, through the sky that we had the tragedy with 9/11. So with airplanes flying into a building. So we just leave our skies, our airspace open like this, and what they're doing actually is using it against us, innocent American citizens, using the drones, the airplanes, the helicopter to follow us around, to track us and hack us and torture us and everything else. They use this equipment, and they use these skies illegally and with whose money. So it's I don't know if they're using this to bring it out so they can deal with it. They know that the next administration is going to start talking about it. So are they just trying to get a jump on it? It's just so baffling. But I agree with your statement.
You've got to know that they're telling them to stand down, because back in the day, if you flew something in the wrong airspace, they would take it down. So what's changed?
Exactly.
It's just crazy. We know our military could, know where it came from and everything. We're not that stupid.
And you're right. You raise a good point. The military should know. And if not, another country should look at us and say, you don't know what's flying over, you don't know what's flying over the heads of all your people, And
you're doing nothing about it? You're just talking about it? You know what? Take one down and figure it out. See where it came from. Just let it fly on its little happy way, and everybody's guessing. It is just, baffles me that everybody is that stupid. You're just you're not that stupid, okay? You guys, come on. If the military is not shooting it down, there's something going on there. Because
absolutely.
And they knew the minute they came into our United States, our airspace, just like the balloon. You know what I mean? We're not that stupid. We know we have very intelligent, and we have intelligence that knows this. It's just, I don't think it should even be a discussion. Take it down, and I don't know, however, put a net on it. Drop a net on it and bring it down.
Absolutely, go up over it and do something. But
drop a net
right.
on it. Take his little antennas, his little his little wings down and get that all tangled up, and that thing will come tumbling down. And then we'll see, and then especially those ones they say that are the big SUV size ones. See,
right.
And Health Ranger caught a drone on camera spraying that area. He goes, look at him, they're spraying it, and it was very visible. It was very visible.
Wow.
Health Ranger on Twitter, so if you look him up, he's got some good stuff, and he's a real good truther. I don't know, it's Mike Adams.
Okay.
You've heard of him, right? Brighteon and all that.
Yes.
He's a really good one to follow. But you know what? But like I have been posting, if there's an outbreak, we know who did it because we know what happens to us. You know, and the reason why I know it was drone spraying is because one time I was in Big Lots in Inglewood, Colorado, which is south of here, and I was getting sprayed inside Big Lots, and I'm like, what the hell? So I go outside, and there's these two drones just having a good old time up in the sky, like probably 100 feet up or whatever, and, you know, just sitting there, and I documented them, too. So we know it's drones. We know it's deep state. We do, you know what I mean? But people can't be that stupid because, you know, one thing is deep state is doing one thing after another. So something else is going to happen. And then something, it's like, come on, it's deep state. Come on, it's not that, you know. It's not that hard to figure out.
So they were spraying, and we had a guest talk about the chemical that they're spraying, which he said was similar to Agent Orange. And he also gave us, that was Dave Case, the engineer, and he gave us an antidote, which was just carrot juice, you know, to take some carrot juice. I've been drinking it. Yeah. So, but thank you. It's good to hear you. And I did get a message. I think I got a message from you, did I?
Yeah, I think I tried to call me to see because I'm trying to look to go to Texas because I want to get out of Colorado. Actually, I know anywhere you go, there they are. You know what I mean? It's like everywhere you go, there you are.
When I move, you move, just like that. Yeah, that's.
I mean, it takes a little while for them to catch up. Yeah, a little while to catch up. Whatever, you know, it is what it is. But I'm a real estate agent, and I'm inactive right now, so I have to do my classes. So I did my real estate classes, and the laws in Colorado are aligning with Agenda 2030. So, and I just found that out, like 10 laws, water, property, and all this stuff. I'm like, oh my God, I got to get out of here.
Oh, I see.
You know,
okay.
I would look.
Well, it's you know what,
laws.
Things are going to change with the new administration. I would wait, and you know, things are going to change with the new administration. So we'll see what happens. But I will give you a call. Thanks. Good hearing your voice. Thanks for being on the J.A.M. Thanks for your support.
Yeah, and all I'm asking for is if you got like a real estate agent there that you guys use or something, that would be nice because that way I have somebody to work with. But you know, I hate to go blindly and just pick someone. You know what I mean? Or anyway.
No, I do know one
anyway,
or two.
That's
I do know one.
Kind of the idea.
I'll share that information with you. Okay.
Thanks, Koji.
All right. Thank you. All right. Next caller, please.
Hello, Gogi. I'm feel like I was just in a boxing ring. I would like to first of all congratulate you for having such a controversial episode that the Coon decided to keep me from listening to it. I was booted from the call at least 10 times. So
And here you are.
I did. Yes. But the lady who spoke earlier put it in perspective. She said, you know, if it was you know, they didn't. I don't know why you didn't want me to hear about the drones, but she said if they were dangerous, they would have been shot out of the sky. And I'm like, yes, inside job. Hello. So
I didn't hear that. If they were dangerous, we missed. You blacked out for a minute.
if they had been dangerous, then the military would have shot them out of the sky.
Mhm. They
That's
should
what
have. Absolutely.
lady said before. So I was inspired by that, and I just said, well, there must have been an inside job then through,
well, yeah.
If they hadn't been,
we know it's part of the program. It's. I mean,
wink,
I don't know if they have increased the numbers, why there's so many sightings, or if somebody just decided to look up in the sky. But we've seen them. I mean, I see them wherever I go. I mean, so I don't know if they have increased the numbers or what's going on, why there's so many sightings. The question also becomes, and I guess we'll talk about that in a little bit, should we report them? Because at one point they were like, call the FBI and tell them that you saw the drones. If you see them, report it, And I mean, I'm sure several TIs have made several reports, and to no avail. But thank you for joining us.
Their targeting hasn't gotten worse if they reported it. Maybe it was a trick. Maybe it was a trick.
That's a good point. Somebody said, go ahead.
Right? No, you go ahead. I'm listening.
My suggestion is that there's going to be new Congress starts on January 3rd, and the inauguration is January 20th. We don't have much longer. I would say that's when it's time to start, making
party
some moves.
time.
Yeah. That's party time. Yes.
Yes.
Thank you for joining
Thank you so
J.A.M.
much,
Thank
guys.
you for being here. Okay.
Thank you.
Blessings. Yeah, you too. Next caller, please.
Good evening.
Good evening.
My name is Shirley. I have a quick question. How can you explain to your children about being targeted and that proof of your implants, and how to go about, having a sit down and have a one-on-one conversation without having an argument, trying to prove yourself that I'm getting a lot of pain. I get a lot of attacks. I also get sexual harassment as well, and it's pretty heavy. And I get a lot of I get targeted throughout my whole body, basically my side, close to my heart, my back, sometimes my knees, my stomach. It's every day. And nowadays, I watch Dr. Lindbergh's video one time about the Avena syndrome. However, now they start, kind of targeting my head, as all the time. So how can a targeted person actually have a conversation with their children to actually truly explain to them that I am in pain and this is a 24/7, the targeting goes on 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, and I know I complain a lot and talk a lot because I do get harsh, attacks, So and then I get attacked almost everywhere. So how can I have a better, communication with my children regarding the pains and everything that goes on with this weapon, and that this technology truly exists, and in that this is real and it's happening.
All right. So, for one, I think, we as TIs need to realize how preposterous this sounds, okay? So that, when we're carrying on our normal life, someone telling us this, we may not easily embrace it. So you give them a bite, you don't have to let them eat the whole steak. Just give them a morsel. So it would be, and I would use what's going on in the news so that you can refer to it. So, to know that you're in pain and you're being attacked, they can't see it because it's invisible and it's being done remotely. So it's very difficult to show them that part. I would start by telling them that. That's a good question. That something's going on. I would start with a list, that you're on a list and you're being targeted, and so are a lot of other people, and it's coming to a head. That's really what I would tell them, and it's coming to a head. It's coming out possibly by next month, the end of next month. Let me ask you a question. And I understand because I'm targeted as well. Why? What? You want them to know that you're in pain because?
It's not so much that I'm in pain. You know how we targeted people actually have family members that actually involved in the program, but they always trying to play that, they don't know anything what you're talking about. They always want to shut you down or, make you feel like you're crazy or you're flipping out and so forth. So, knowing that I am being targeted, I know who's involved, So right. A lot of the time my argument with my son comes about because he's part of what's going on in my life, basically. Mm-hmm. And I know that.
Let me say this: if he's involved, then he knows.
Yeah,
if he's involved,
I don't know
then
about
he knows.
The pain. I don't know if he knows about because I do talk about the implants, but I don't know if they the people that playing a role, if they're actually aware that I have implants, that I'm actually being attacked, and this is a 24 hours a day program, and it goes on throughout the day. I don't know if they're aware of that part, or they're just playing whatever part they're playing for whatever reason, and life goes on.
Right. So this is the thing. You can share my book, GoGi's 10 Signs Which Indicate You Are a Targeted Individual. But I think if someone is involved, then they know something. And whatever you say, they know that you're probably telling the truth because, but that's what they're saying to you because they're not going to admit that they know. So the thing about it is, I think that that's not that fruitful for you. I would continue to preserve myself. You continue to preserve yourself and do what you can and prepare for freedom. If they're entrenched in the program and they're doing that to you, then it's not to convince them otherwise. It's to just make it through. Just make it through. So, just make it through. So that's what I would say to you. And because they already know something's going on. They've already made a decision to be on that side. So that's their decision. And you get to decide when everything is said and done, whether how close you let them in your life afterwards or not. So things are getting ready to open up and be exposed. All right? So I'll see you on the other side. Thank you for joining the J.A.M.
So thank you.
Right. All right. Next caller, please.
Hi, Gatti.
Hi, how are you?
I am making it through the man-made hell.
I tell you, that's a good name for it, Constance.
The drones, that, I look at all the people over all the decades that I've heard drones, they've seen drones, they have pictures of drones, and now we come up with all these drones all of a sudden. It is just so weird. And Donald Trump said shoot them down. So I'm going to see, okay, so if a TI, without going to jail, sees a drone over their house and they take out their gun and shoot it down?
Oh, my God. Do they, Lady T? Let me stop. I'm messing with her. But, yeah, no, let's not do that because, you know, they would love for us to do that. They would love to find us out there shooting at the sky, but
exactly.
Mm-hmm.
And they could find another reason to put another
some kind of institution. So, no, and I'm not even suggesting, that's just me. This is IMO, in my opinion, suggesting we make any calls right now. I think let everybody else do it. They're making all these calls.
They're making enough for all of us.
Exactly. Let's document, because if at one point they say, all right, if you've been harassed by a drone, you're going to get paid X amount of dollars per sighting, $1,000 per sighting. I mean, pull out your book, or the number of times that you did call. So I think it's important to document it. I believe, hopefully you've made calls in the past, document that. January 3rd is right around the corner. And we can start making our calls then, and so forth. But for me, I think it's time to just be still.
Exactly, it's time to be still. But you know what? We have TIs that have been taking pictures for 30, 20, and 10 years of drones.
Yes.
Wow. Well.
Yes.
God bless
and their pictures are going to matter, too. They're going to matter, too.
Put them on a memory card or something.
Yes, absolutely. It's ridiculous. All of a sudden, it's like somebody looked up and saw all the things we've been talking about forever. But, Constance, I'm looking forward to hear you with the J.A.M. Voices for Christmas.
I'm ready for you to tell me when rehearsal is. I am anxious.
All right, will do.
God bless you.
God bless you, too.
Love you, Tranquility. Love you, Lady T. Bye.
Love you, Constance.
Okay, thank you. Bye.
All right, bye-bye. All right, next call, please. All right. Okay. That's all we got tonight, guys. So thank you for joining the J.A.M. We've had some great guests. Next week I'm going to ask you to tell me who you would like for us to have on the show. Most recently we've had Dave Case, and he had some really good products with the SD card and the CD that he has that helps to build a firewall around you so that you can't be found, and he's helped about 4,000 TIs to date, and he also has the smart filter, which blocks the extra electricity that the criminals try to pop into our house and cause damage. I read somewhere that the smart meter adds radiation, and it reads each outlet. That is why that extra energy goes through the outlets. Most people cover them so that they can't hit you and zap you through the outlet. All right. And then we had Dr. Linda Pimenta, which was very helpful and talked about, because of her psychiatric expertise, about what to say, what not to say, what to do, what not to do when you're in a medical arena, like you go to the emergency room or to the hospital and so forth. And we're working on an emergency response team to be of service and help when people are involuntarily detained. And so that I'm looking forward to. And also we had Jesse Beltran last week, and he spoke about how important it is to move from subjectivity to objectivity, meaning getting concrete evidence of the things that are going on with you, whether that be being diagnosed with Havana syndrome or your body scan. And we recommend 2 scans, a scan with, or at least I do, the scan with John Kingston with the nonlinear, and because it picks up the passive and active foreign objects in your body or frequencies, and Beltran also picks up the frequencies. And that's just the beginning. That's the first step to gathering your evidence. There are other things that you do after that. So, all right, anybody interested in, we already have 3 clinics scheduled, 2 in D.C., 1 in Texas, and we're planning 1 possibly in New York, but at least these 3. So if you're interested, the Justice Action meeting at proton.me, and also John Kingston will be in the Northeast area again in February, so we're going to work on that as well. So we just want to help to get as much information and things in your hand, because it is our belief, or it is my belief, that things are opening up. So that said, Roger mentioned earlier the inauguration. Please plan to be there. I would love to hear from you. We'd love to meet you, and we really need to get our information into the hands of the powers that be. Also, the February 6th, Boots Across America, or National Watch Listed Day, we would like people standing out at their capitals and just announcing the torture that's going on, talking about it, and sharing information about it. We also have new merchandise coming soon. It's called Ceasefire, and it refers to the illegal surveillance of American people, the weaponization of the government against civilians, and so forth. So we have some strong branded information that we can wear, and by wearing it, it will send a strong message. If you if you are interested in anything that I mentioned, please do send an email to the Justice Action meeting at proton.me. Check out my website, which is under construction, J.A.M.com. Of course, for any events in the TI community, tievents.org, run by, owned, operated, and founded by Tranquility. And I think that's all. All of the information that we share each week is also put up on the YouTube. Now, when Dave Case was here, don't know why, but they suspended me for a week from YouTube, and that particular show was not allowed to be put up. So I'll put it on my website, but it won't be on my YouTube page, unfortunately. But the others will, and most of them are. Last week's is up already. So check it out, and follow me on Substack. I haven't gotten up anything right now, but it's coming. So I'm hoping that you all are preparing for a great Christmas. It's actually next week. Next week is Christmas Eve for the J.A.M. And again, if you'd like to share your talent, your voice, please do send me an email, and I respond to all emails. All right? I think that's it. Anybody that's with me, do we have any other further messages or announcements that I forgot to make? I just want to thank everybody. Let me just spend a minute thanking Lady T, thanking Sir Dan, Major P, though you didn't get to read your article, you were prepared, Big Guy, Roger, J.A.M, Map News, though he didn't get to come on today. Linda Hassan, you've been sending me stuff. Thank you. Daylene for that lovely poem. Thank you so much. And, of course, I'm not going to forget Tranquility, my right hand on the show. Thank you all, because without you guys, the J.A.M would not be possible. There are more people, and I know I hate to start naming, because then I'll forget somebody. Connie Love, we look forward to your tips again coming soon. And, again, we're going to prepare for the J.A.M. Voices. And I hope that this holiday season is shaping up to be a beautiful one for you. I believe it's going to be your last Christmas in captivity. We're moving in. This is our exodus. We're moving into freedom, and I'm so excited about it. So just hold on. If it gets hard, just hold on. You see all this talk about drones and talk about this and talk about that. Just hold on. Stay focused, because we know our day is coming. It's almost here. All right, so we're going to open up to say goodnight. Thank you all for joining the J.A.M. Love you guys, and so glad you're here. All right. The Justice Action Meeting at proton.me. Yeah. The Justice Action Meeting
at proton.me. Okay, cool. Thank you.
Yes, ma'am.
Have a good night, guys.
Thank you guys for joining us.
Trying to block me from listening to the call, but fortunately, the imbecile was...
Thank you, GoGi's. Have a good night.
My pleasure, sir. My pleasure, sir. Good night, everybody. Thank you all for being here. Thank you for joining the J.A.M. Good night. Thank you for being here.
Good night, guys.
Good night, everybody.